What to do when SHTF? What to do if there's a food shortage? What to do if there's another emergency? We're doing it. Hello, welcome back to Alkaline TV. This is Douglas Dennis, the Alkaline Life Coach. If you're nervous and feel unprepared about the future, these are some tips on how to stay confident even if things get even worse. You can rely on yourself deep down if you have the right information and the confidence. So let's get into it in this video. What are some tips of what to do if there is another emergency or a food shortage? So first of all, try fasting and detoxing. I would recommend doing this before anything goes wrong because stress is toxic. That's one toxin that maybe you can't really get rid of unless you're an experienced monk or if you are into that kind of thing. If you're really into prayer, stretching, meditation, maybe you can handle stress better than other people. But for most people, I think stress is going to be the worst part if anything goes wrong, because you have a fight or flight basically process in your body, and you have hormones. There are different glands that release these hormones in different places in your body. One problem a lot of people have these days is adrenal fatigue or burnout. You've heard of burnout. They used to even call it nervous breakdown. There's some glands that are on the top of your kidneys and your low back. Basically, these have to work overtime. When you get stressed out, when you eat unhealthy food, it just weakens them. So because of people's sleep patterns, we have artificial lighting. Back in the day before electricity, it would get dark out and then it's dark out. Yeah, you can light a candle, but it's not the same to light a candle compared to having the modern lights that we have now that have thousands of lumens per bulb. One lumen is one candle. So basically we can light thousands of candles with the flick of a light switch these days. And that puts a lot of stress on your life because we don't sleep. If I was camping or in the wilderness, my body would adjust to nature when the sun comes up, when the sun goes down. So that puts extra stress on the body, and sleep is very important for your health and for stress relief. Sleeping is one of the ways we can completely oxygenate our body and alkalize, raise our pH, which, what does that even mean? It means you'll feel good after. You'll feel better. And here's another thing you can do if SHTF and if things go crazy. What is going to happen and what can you do to survive and survive confidently without worrying every second and struggling? That's the point of this video. Not just basic survival, but humans existed for hundreds of thousands of years, potentially millions. It's not exact. It's not what scientists think. There's a lot of mystery info that hasn't been discovered yet. So I recommend to detoxify and get your health under control now, before it's even more difficult. How do you do this? Well, here are two ways. One way is fasting. Another way is juicing. There's a special list of fruits and vegetables to juice. There's a free group that I have. Link is in the description and on my channel homepage. So not all fruits and vegetables are created equal. Unfortunately, there's a lot of disinformation about what's healthy out there, and I go off on this in several of my other videos, so make sure to subscribe if you're interested in that kind of information. Thank you for all the new subscribers, by the way. I really appreciate it, and I love all your feedback. I've been going live recently, and the interaction in the lives has been amazing. I really appreciate all of you. It's been fantastic. I've been learning a lot. I've been sharing a lot of information, and it's been great so far. So make sure to hit the bell icon so that you're notified when I go live. Once your digestion is detoxified, you will feel so much better. This way, if something goes wrong, you're going to be the one that can think clearly. You're going to be the one that can maybe rescue someone that needs it. You're going to be the one that's, like I said, level-headed and ready to figure out what to do next. The best way to be prepared is to be healthy. That way, if something comes up unexpected, you can easily react to it. When you're unhealthy, I've been sick. Actually, if you don't know my story, I was sick for years and years before. Thankfully, not anymore. But when I was sick, I couldn't really function. My brain was foggy. My memory wasn't as good. I'm a martial artist. I definitely wasn't as quick, my reflexes and everything like that. So you need to be sharp, you need quick reflexes, and fasting or juicing helps you to be comfortable with an empty stomach. That way, if something crazy happens, and God forbid your stomach empties, which is normal, it's abnormal these days how people eat 7 times a day and just keep loading up with food on top of food on top of food, layer on top of layer on top of layer. Their body can't even digest it all. That's not natural. That's not how it is in nature. So it's normal for our body, for our stomach to empty, and it's okay. In fact, it should happen. Your stomach should be emptying. This is called basically intermittent fasting. And it's been catching on. It's been pretty popular in the last couple years. This is where you go 12, 16 or more hours without eating, and then you eat 1 or 2 meals in a day. This gives your digestion a break. And once you try this a few times, once you try it even once, you'll realize how most people are overeating. Your body can't use what you're putting in. It can't absorb anything out of it. There's nothing in it most of the time. There's no minerals that you need anyway. So I won't go more into that, but I have other videos about that kind of stuff if you're interested. Check out my playlists. I have so many. I have 200 videos actually already. You can learn how to forage for plants such as, there are edible herbs. A lot of the herbs that I take that I would recommend are growing wild, at least where I live, and most people just mow them down. As long as it's not winter, and we'll talk about winter, because there are things you can do in winter as well. But assuming it's not winter, there's things like dandelion, burdock. You can eat dandelion root. You can eat dandelion leaves. You roast the root and make it into tea. It's so good. It sounds like, ooh, that's something you just like mow over with the lawnmower. That's what most people think. The root roasted is delicious. Makes an amazing tea. You're not going to be able to fly to South America and get coffee unless you're already there. But if you're somewhere that doesn't grow coffee, anyway, I recommend not drinking coffee anyway, especially during a difficult time. Because what does coffee do? It burns out your adrenal glands. Remember I talked about the adrenal glands a few minutes ago? Coffee is a no-no. You're not going to want it, and you're not going to need it if you take my other things into account. If you try fasting and juicing and these herbs I'm going to mention, you're going to have so much energy, you're not going to need more energy. It's just going to be a joke to you. I have so much energy now, and a few years ago I had chronic fatigue. Some days I literally couldn't get out of bed. And that sounds almost not like it didn't happen because it was years ago, but I have so much energy now, it's crazy. Like, I think most people can't handle how much energy I have. If they had to spend a day with me, or if they had to spend some time with me, I would just run them out right away because I have natural healthy energy. It's not anything toxic or bad for me. And it's not anything that's going to burn me out. This is day after day after day. So if something goes wrong, I'll be fine. If other people are missing their precious coffee, and I'll be just running around in circles. So you can be this way too. Naturally, this is how we are if we get back to the original state. There's a lot of iron in that dandelion root. That iron is what you need. That iron is what you want. That's what you need. Don't worry about calories. Someone commented the other day and I had a mini rant. Thank you for commenting, by the way. I love the comments. I appreciate the feedback. My subscribers are, I think, the smartest group of people on the internet. This is a great community to share and expand your awareness. Expanding your awareness before anything goes on is key. Just knowing about these things will keep you confident. That way you won't have to, let's just say the internet goes down. God forbid. There didn't used to be internet, by the way. How did people make it a million years? But once you understand this information, let it sink in. Maybe you need to watch it more than once. There are some important videos I have. You might need to watch them more than once. I have an entire transformation program. Of course, I recommend that you go through the program, but I'm not going to talk more about that in this video. Specific other plants you can forage. Burdock. That's another one that has an extremely healthy root. This root is delicious, actually. They eat this in Asia. I lived in Japan a long time ago, and I had no idea what this was. It's in some of the sushi rolls, and they sweeten it, and they soak it in like sugar and soy sauce. I don't eat sugar or soy sauce, but you can eat this, and there are alternatives to sugar and soy sauce. You could use agave, sea salt, something like that. I'll get into that later. But there are delicious ways to prepare this. You can also dry it and make it into tea. Burdock root tea. I was drinking that a lot. At the beginning of my alkaline transition, that was one of the things that really helped give me superpower. And burdock root is another one of those foods that's going to give you superpower energy. Why does it give you so much energy? It's the minerals. It's the iron and other minerals. Those digest in really almost no time, like 5 minutes, and you'll feel an energy boost right away. This isn't stuff that's going to take forever to start working. So if you're in the wild and you need energy, there are certain roots, like I just mentioned, dandelion and burdock, and they're just wild where I'm from, all over the place. So it's free. Now, they're a little bit hard to dig out, but if whatever it is, SHTF, then you'll be fine doing whatever you need to do to live, I'm sure. And you'll be thankful that you found all this out. So I'm thankful that I know this now, because if something happens, I know what to eat and what not to. Here are other things that even in the winter you could forage. Wild mushrooms. Thousands of types of mushrooms just around here, let alone in the rest of the world. I don't even know how many species of mushrooms there are. I bet nobody knows, but there are more discovered. And there are thousands, though, I know that there are too many for me to count. But you can get this information either from an expert. There are really good books out there. There are some mushroom books that are like this thick. I've got some actually that I'm ordering, but I've also been hunting. There's some other videos on this channel where there are a few types that I can easily identify. I wouldn't call myself an expert on mushrooms specifically, but there are some that I can feel confident identifying in the wild that really don't have a poisonous look-alike. That's really the thing about mushrooms, is that there are some poisonous ones, but they're not as bad as you might expect. You don't die from touching them or anything. Like, I was afraid before I learned more that, you can actually, some of them you can even actually taste and they won't kill you or anything like that. So it's when you eat like a basket full of deadly ones that can have, there are some deadly ones, but you have to ingest. And most of the time you should just try a little bit at a time just to make sure. But there are some mushroom species that are pretty darn easy to identify, and you can find them and collect them. You can also take them home and identify them at home. So you could always then throw them out or whatever if they're some kind that you don't want. That being said, there are some really good edible mushrooms, and some of them grow in the winter, like oyster mushrooms. You can actually find oyster wild. I've actually got some growing right here in a grow kit in my house, but you can find oyster mushrooms growing in the wintertime with snow on them, and there are some other kinds that grow in the winter too. Maitake, ooh, those are more delicious than oyster in my opinion. And those are just two, but there are so many different types that grow up until it gets super, super freezing out. So some of them you can find all the way into December. It's quite amazing. So there are some foods you can find in the wild that you can live off of. Not only that, it's not just that you can live off of it. Those are really healthy foods that I eat all year round. I eat burdock and drink burdock tea and the other things I'm talking about all the time. So if I had to find it in the wild and eat it, it'd be probably better because it'd be fresh. It's not like you're missing out on something because the grocery store is closed down or whatever the case may be in the hypothetical situation. So you don't have to miss out. If things do go wrong, there are still amazing things in the world that we can enjoy and we can survive and thrive off of. I hope I enlightened you on a few of these things. These are just a few little tips of what you could be doing to prepare yourself. I have another video about what to order, what to stock up on, so that you have these staple foods, healthy foods that are permissible in my special program that you can stock up on before anything crazy happens. Well, plenty of crazy things have already happened, as we all know. So let's hang in there. Let's gather more information. Relationships are more and more important. I should add that one as the last note before I leave, is that the relationships that you have are going to be very, very important. If you're a trustworthy person, welcome to my channel. We need more. And I'm a very honest person, and in my experience, there aren't that many of us out there. That's it for this video. If you want to know more details about anything I mentioned here, just ask in the comments. I am pretty good about replying to all the comments, so keep them coming. Thank you for all the love and support. I'll see you in the next video. Have an amazing day on purpose. And make sure you tune in when I go live. Peace. If you want to completely go alkaline, I have a transformation program. There's a link in the description to get a hold of me, and I can have a free consultation call with you. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have an amazing day on purpose. Peace.